Hey guys, Angel here, back again with another video. So as you see by the title, it's gonna be a dating do's and don'ts, and I'm gonna start off by saying I am not a love expert. Definitely most of the stuffs that I'm gonna say I am guilty of doing prior to me going on to dates or whatever. These are the stuffs that I've learned throughout the years that I've been into dating. I've encountered so many like people, and I've been into not many, but like I've been into some relationships, so I have some of ideas of what you should do and what you should not do. That being said, let's go straight into the video. First thing on the list is when like you go into dates, you always want to smell good. I put this at the top list because smelling good is like really the most important like thing, especially if you guys are gonna meet for the first time. You do want to smell good. It would be good if you have that specific scent. It's good if you have that, because I'm not sure if I read this somewhere or like I watched like a video or whatever about it, but the way our brain works is that it distinguishes like certain smells. So if you smell that certain specific scent, the initial like thing is that their brain is gonna think about you. That is why smelling good and having like specific scent is important, because you don't want them to remember you because you smell bad. You don't want them to think that, oh, I met that person, and then the initial thing they will say is like, oh yeah, that person really smelled bad when we met the first time. Because like, you know, you can't control what you smell. You can't control like how your nose works, you know? And it's also a way of saying that you take care of your body, you take care of yourself, and you don't like let yourself smell bad, because that is like bad hygiene right there. It shows that you care about yourself more than like anything. So that is why that's the first one. So going on to the next one, the second thing that I put in my list is practice conversations. I know it sounds like crazy, like it kind of does, like who talks to themselves, right? But like here's the thing, this can help you if you're someone who has maybe an anxiety of like meeting new people like I do. Whenever like I go into new places and I'm meeting new people for the first time, my initial reaction was like I'm really anxious to go there, like as if like I don't really want to go. Whether it's in dating or not, it's good to practice like conversations, you know what I mean? Because it just creates more flow all throughout the conversation if you do that. And this goes whether if it's in person or like through text. This type of thing, it really comes with a lot of practice. And so if you know that you struggle in this type of, you struggle more in like conversations, you struggle on keeping the conversations going on your part, then by all means grab a friend, you know, like talk to them, your best friend, your whatever, talk to them. Can you like throw in some questions to me, like you're the person that I'm talking to? Another thing, if you don't have a friend, if you're really shy to do that, even though you do have a friend, go in front of a mirror, stand there, talk to yourself, because I'm pretty sure you have like some sort of like idea. But if you don't, there are like a lot of like mediums and outlets out there that you could use to like search questions. But when I say practice what you're gonna say, it doesn't mean that you have to lie about the things you're saying to that person because you practice it a lot and you have to lie. No. So which brings me to the next one, which is kind of still connected. That is to make the conversation interesting. Make it more interesting. You don't want to be going out there and answering all the questions one by one, word per word. That is really boring. Especially if you guys are starting to get to know each other. You want to make it interesting and you don't want to come off as just like boring. And yes, you do want to make it more interesting, but make sure to leave room for more. Make sure you are not giving a lot of like information on like your first date or your first talk. Some sort of like you want to leave like a cliffhanger to your life story, so that the next time you meet, you still have like a lot of things to say to that person. Basically, the point is make that other person curious, make them think about you, leave that person with like, you know, questions in their head. I mean, just the thought of like wanting to know more about you, that is like the goal. And of course, it's always not about you. Make sure to throw in some questions as well. The main point here is you also want to get to know that person. And if you're someone like who is like shy and don't want to ask that person, what you could do is make your response a little bit like a hanging phrase so that there's room for more to add like on their part. So on to the next one. Make sure you have like your own set of questions, like the things you want to know, the things you're looking for, especially if you're like dating for marriage. Make sure you have your questions ready. Like I know I talk about this in my other like video, and that is learning how to set standards, knowing what you want, and you know anything that matters to you and you know that is healthy for you. Why this is really important is that, for example, that person you were talking to is really attractive physically. If you're that type of person, you get like really attracted physically, what will happen is that if you don't have your questions ready, you don't know what you want, you don't know like the standards you were looking for the type of relationship you want to get into, your brain is gonna initially process it as if like you're blinded by all those red flags that that person might have that doesn't fit your standards, the things that you want. Like you might ignore it just because you don't have those questions ready, you don't know what you're getting into. So have those questions ready, and also be prepared of like whatever like response they would give you. So the next one is a gesture that is really important when it comes to dating, and that is eye contact. It is really important when it comes to dating, especially if you guys are like seeing for the first time. You do want to have that eye contact, because for me this will determine how interested that person is to me, how interested that person is to what I'm saying, which probably is important, because if I'm serious about talking to someone, I would make that eye contact. Like it just seems that you really care about knowing more about them if you're making eye contact. But here's the thing, don't be looking at them like you are some like obsessed creepy person. That is not what eye contact means. Make that other person feel like they're not talking into thin air or something. Make them feel that someone is listening, which leads me to the next one, active listening, which I guess is really hard, especially if you're in that early stage of dating where you're like getting to know that person. How it works is like you're anticipating, how is this person gonna respond to my question? How is this conversation gonna lead to the next? Which in this case is no longer like active listening. And this goes back to what I'm talking about earlier, which is practice conversations. Because if you keep thinking ahead, oh, what's the next? If you keep on doing that, you might miss some things that that person is saying. You might overread something, or you might overheard something that is actually important to that person who is like talking, which in return that other person might think like, oh my gosh, this person is not listening to me, they don't know the details I'm like saying, why am I talking to this person? And then the next one will be, don't be nervous. You know, at the end of the day, it's always gonna be you. What's important is that you being you and you're staying true to yourself. Because here's the thing, if you show them that you were nervous talking to them, like they will feel like as if they were like in control. Whatever they do, you would prioritize them, and like we don't want that. In connection to this, be confident. Be confident of the things you can offer and the things you can bring to the table. But please don't be coming off like with some attitude or something. Like you can be confident without being rude. Just be prepared, be ready, and it will show through you. And make sure to also give out the vibes that you love yourself, you know what you're doing, you know what you want, and that you won't settle for anything less. I definitely have more things to say, but I don't want to bore you guys. I don't want to make this video too long. Definitely there are more in-depth ones, which is like gonna be catered for more specific type of relationships you're getting into. How I see it, dating is not gonna be the same for everyone. It's gonna be different to every type of people, because you have different kinds of perspective, you have different priorities of what you like, what you don't like. Definitely it's gonna play out on how you want your relationship to pan out. But I've covered some of the basics. So that is it, you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you do, make sure to like this video. Go comment something down below, because I read every single one of my comments. Go comment something down below what other topics you want me to talk about, because I definitely want to do more of these videos. This is very chill, very therapeutic. And if that's something you're into, then go subscribe to my channel, turn on that post notification so you will be notified whenever I post a new video. And with that being said, I'm gonna see you guys on my next one. Bye!